What is up? All right, so this is my Ice Mage build up to level 50. In the description, I will have a link to d4builds.gg that has the full skill tree, has all the gear that I'm using, I have some notes in there, and I also will be updating it with the paragon board as well. So let's open up and I'll talk about some of the gear and stuff too that I'm using. But first off, let's go with the abilities and we'll look at the skill tree here. So to start off, for your first 15 levels, follow this path right here. You're going to put 2 points into Frostbolt. 1, 2. I know you only see one right now. That's for later on down the road, because we're going to use this just to generate mana. It's not really something that we're using to try to kill anyone with, or any enemy. So take note of that. But apply the first 2 points into Frostbolt, and that's going to unlock the second portion of the tree. And then what you want to do is you want to put 1 point into Ice Shards, 1 point into Enhanced Ice Shards, 1 point into Greater Ice Shards, and then your next 4, which would be 6, 7, 8, 9 of your skill points, just go ahead and max out Ice Shards. It's going to be like your main attack. You're going to use this to fill up mana. I mean, you can, early game, it will do damage and kill enemies, but this uses a lot of mana, so you're going to be, pin them to your left and right mouse click, and I'm back and forth. Back and forth. Okay, after you have that maxed out, we're going to come down here. We're going to put 1 point into Frost Nova, 1 point into Enhanced Frost Nova, and then 1 point into Mystical Frost Nova. Now, this is your defense right here, so you want to make sure you have a little bit of defense in the game as you get to like tier or level 10, 11, 12. And then 13, 14, 15, we're going to go 1 point into Precision Magic, 1 point into Align the Elements, and then 1 point into Protection. Now, honestly, I'd probably go like 1 point into Align the Elements first, and then probably go 1 point into Protection right here, because using a cooldown is going to grant 30% of your maximum life. So, maybe 1, and then for level 15, go ahead and put into Precision Magic. So that's going to get you started with everything with the Ice Mage. For the first 15 levels, we're going to get you through. I also, later on, I do have this maxed out. I'll just show you what I have maxed out right here. And of course, you can see this on the d4build.gg build sheet. Of course, we have Frost Nova maxed out. I use Ice Armor. Now, I don't have this maxed out, but I have gear that has like +1 or +2 Ice Armor. So that's why it, or I guess it's +1, I think. I thought it was +2. But anyway, Enhanced Armor, and then Mystical Ice Armor. And then up here, I have Enhanced Frostbolt and Glinting Frostbolt. Now, this does do damage. It just doesn't do a lot of damage. So small enemies that you fight, like the little spiders and stuff like that, even at level 50, I can go in a dungeon and, one tap them or 2 tap them, stuff like that. So, I mean, it still is useful, even though I haven't applied any points into it, just as an FYI. And then Deep Freeze. So I have that maxed, which you can only put 1 point into it, but Prime Deep Freeze, Supreme Deep Freeze. This is your ultimate. And then I want to go ahead and max out Frigid, Hoarfrost, Permafrost, Icy Touch. And then I went ahead and use Avalanche as my key passive. Now, this is going to be important when we get into the aspects and stuff for the weapons. And I'm not even finished gathering all these, but on the build sheet, I do show which ones that I feel you should take. And then for skill assignment down here for your enchantment, Ice Shards, and then you can put Blizzard on here. I will mix it up with Blizzard and with the Ice Shard. Ice Shards have a 40% chance to ricochet to another enemy. Ice Shards always ricochet off a frozen enemy. So if I see this lighting up because of avalanche. I will take advantage of that for sure. Let's see, blizzard, and then I have the enhanced blizzard. And I didn't put any point into either wizard blizzard or mage blizzard. I mean, you could probably take ice armor off, and honestly, I mean, when cast above 50, blizzard duration increases by 4 seconds. That's probably like a really good one to put a point into, to be honest. You could probably get rid of one of the ice armor. Like I said, I have gear that is giving me that boost. But yeah, that would definitely be something I would consider. Having the blizzard is really strong, so having like an additional 4 seconds of it, that could mean the difference in, killing an elite, or, maybe even taking a boss a tick or two down from his health bar, just as an FYI. So let's go over here to the gear. I'm not going to go over the paragon because I'm still in the early stages of it, even though on the build sheet I have started working out what I want to use. Now, keep in mind, I'm only using frost skills with the sorcerer, or cold spells, or, whatever you want to refer to them as. With that said, I don't think this is the strongest build, even, up to like level 85, or what is it, like 92 or something like that, like with the scaling and stuff. I know people that use the Sorc build with ice shards are utilizing stuff like what is it? Meteor, and is it Flame Wall, I think is the other one I think that I see a lot of people using. I don't even remember where it was. Hydra, Flame Wall. I know people are utilizing that. They're using Teleport, stuff like that. Reason why I'm not is I'm strictly going with cold spells. This is the purpose of having an Ice Mage build where I'm only utilizing cold spells. Is that the best build? Min-maxed to the gills for in-game? Probably not. But as I get deeper and deeper into the game, I will be updating the skill sheet, and I'll probably upload another video as well saying, hey, you should maybe remove a point here and add it to this. Now, you'll see right here that I have like a point in Flame Shield and a point in Teleport. That's just strictly from like my gear giving me a plus, 1 to this. With that said, I don't have all of the gear that I want the way that I want it yet. I just got past level 50. So I'm still trying to get like top-notch gear. But I tell you what, in my opinion, I think as far as aspect of disobedience right here on the helm, you want to go ahead and embed that. For the chest armor, let me look at my skill sheet because there's 2 parts to this. So for the chest, you want Snow Guard aspect, and then you also want to look for the Remnant of Infinite. That is the actual piece of gear that you can get. This gives intelligence, damage to close enemies, damage to stun enemies. It also ranks to glass cannon, which I'm not using, but that is something you could put a point into. I know it probably is good for this, but you're going to be less, tankier, whatnot. And I'll talk about that in a second too. So for the gloves, right here, aspect of control. Let's see. I'm going to skip the pants and I'll come back to that. Boots, because there's another piece of gear that you want to look for. Boots, exploiters aspect. For your one-handed weapon, aspect of piercing cold. And then for your offhand, aspect of biting cold. For the ring, aspect of frozen wake. And then aspect of frozen memory. And then for the amulet, you want elementalist aspect. And I do have that in here already. You deal 38% more damage to immobilized, stunned, or frozen enemies, which is, what we want to look for. So I do have some of the aspects and stuff in here on the character. But for the pants, you want to look, they are drops. There's nowhere you can farm these, but they're called Ice Heart Bras, Brais. If you look on the skill sheet, you will see what that is referred to. And then for like the aspect, you want frost bullets. So if we come up here to like the codex of power, let me click back on my sheet. I was trying to go back and forth between it. So again, for like the defensive ones, like I have the snowfield aspect, snow guards aspect. This one is actually good too, aspect of the protector, because it grants you barrier, absorbing up to 840 damage for 10 seconds. That one can be really good, even though I didn't mention that like in the build. Let me see if I can find. This is another one too. If you have a barrier to deflect, there are a couple other good like defensive aspects here. Just trying to hover over them. I think that's everything right there. And then on the offensive side of things, aspects of control. I don't know if I have that one yet. This is what I'm working on right now. Oh yeah, right here, aspect of control. So like I said, you want to put that on your gloves. And then I have the piercing cold. You can put that on your weapon. And then the biting cold right here, you can put that on your offhand. When you freeze an enemy, there's a 25% chance they become vulnerable, which is huge. And then piercing cold right here. Ice shards pierce 3 times, dealing 25% less damage per subsequent enemy hit. So for those 3 piercing shards, each one of the hits is going to do less and less, so just as an FYI. And then there's some other ones that I don't have yet, like the Frozen Wake. I don't know where that is. You can check the build sheet and let me see if I can find it. But the key thing here is almost everything plays into the build as far as skill points. Everything goes into like, either some sort of defense for like barriers, because I am using the ice armor that applies the barrier. I'm trying to see. I don't even see. Oh, here's one right here. Elementalist aspect. Yeah, you want to put this on your amulet. It's really good. Core mastery skills cast at or above 100 mana, gain 20% increased critical strike chance. That's huge. I have about 120 mana, which is something that, I would like to have a little more of. I don't even see this. I probably went right over it, but it is in here. That's the Frozen Wake and the Frozen Memory. I might need to put like just my class. Oh, I know what it is. This is a drop. It's not one that you can go farm. The Frozen Memory and the Frozen Wake, those are drops. So FYI with that. I think that's about it right there. And then for a resource, the Exploiters aspect, which is one that I don't have yet. That one is a drop. I think that's a drop. Let's see. Yeah, that one is a drop, I'm pretty sure. So it's not one that you can just farm. You're going to have to basically get lucky. Oh, no. Exploiter is right here. I was looking at the wrong one. My bad. Disregard. It's early in the morning. I still don't see it. So, yeah, it is a drop, actually. I'm trying to see if there's anything else here. I don't utilize anything with mobility. I don't feel that any of these actually, for my particular build, something like charge aspect for crackling energy, if you're not using strictly just cold spells or, whatnot, any of these would work. But like, yeah, that one's probably good. Crackling energy increases. Critical strike grant movement speed for up to 1 second. 20% movement speed for 3 seconds after teleporting. So I know teleport is a really popular skill to use. I'm not utilizing it though because that is a shock skill, not a frost skill. So or frozen skill. So I'm not utilizing it. I'm only using frozen skills. But yeah, I've played. I've done a lot. Played through the campaign. I'm on the early portion. I guess you would refer to it as mid game now. Going around, uh, trying to collect some of these different aspects, looking for gear. Going up to veteran tier 2 and dungeons and stuff. Swapping back and forth between tier 2, tier 1. I have not yet. Just as an FYI, like I have not went up here and went into the basement right here. I've not done any of that. You see, I'm doing like right here, the Whispers of the Dead with the Grim Favors. So I am doing that. Like, and they give you decent rewards. And then mostly like right now, still because it is early game, I'm just looking to get the gear that I want. And I do have like on the note sheet. What you should look for, whether it's like vulnerability, whether it's crit strike, chance or damage, maybe even some intelligence, lucky hit strike is some stuff that I feel is very important. And then the gems, you want to put the emerald right here. So that's going to give you the 7.5% crit strike. And then I have diamond everywhere else. Barrier generation, barrier generation, barrier generation. And this one is resistance, and resistance would be right there. Right here, you could put another emerald in your weapon if you wanted to. But yeah, just diamond everywhere, and then the 2 emeralds for the weapons. And that's basically it. And yeah, like I went ahead and powered up some of these fully because whatever, this is going to be my character that I play for the life cycle of this game. So if I waste some of, my materials and stuff, it's a learning process. I'm not following anyone's build guide. This is just trial and error and, looking at some of the data mine stuff to what I think, is good. And I've tried some different skills. Like I was using ice blades instead of ice armor. I think ice armor is better than the ice blade, but, maybe you want ice blades, I mean, it's not that it's bad. It is a conjuration, versus like, having 2 defensive skills. That may be something, you maybe want something like one, skill from each of the aspects of the tree, whether it's mastery, whether it is ultimate, the conjuration, defense, core, and then your base or basic skill. And again, like I said, I've played around with like having 2 points here versus just 1, and then applying some points here. I would like to have gear that allows me to, maybe not have a +1 flame shield or a +1 teleport, and maybe it gives me a +1 into Blizzard as an example, and then that allows me to put a point into Frostbolt to have that maxed out, or even find a piece of gear with a +1 to Frostbolt as an example. Stuff like that. That is stuff that I'm still steadily looking for and trying to, get the perfect build and the perfect gear. Like, that's the end game for me. This is the character that I'm going to play for the lifespan of the game, even though I do have a couple of hardcore characters and a couple other builds that I am messing around with. And just as an FYI, if you want to see the stats right here, so I'll scroll down. You can kind of pause it. But I have high intelligence because that, boosts the spell damage. But you see the weapon damage, weapon speed, attack bonus, crit strike chance, and then crit strike damage. I know, like, I play a lot of Last Epoch, so the crit strike chance isn't as good in that game as it is in Diablo 4. I would like to have that a little bit higher. So if I get gear that has, boost up crit strike chance, 13%, that would be a welcome. Overpower is another one, that I would like. Have a little more boost into damage versus frozen. Obviously, that one is important. And damage with frost, damage with cold. These are things that I would like to boost, through gear and whatnot. Life on kill 24, healing 14%, life up to 1400. Mana is something that is important. I have 128. Mana cost reduction is huge. Mana regen, movement speed, something that I feel a lucky hit chance I feel is important. Obviously armor and damage reduction are things that maybe you want to look for. I do have a lot of life. I do have a lot of armor. I do have a lot of intelligence. But a lot of the stats and stuff that you see are because I don't have the gear that I am particularly, wanting to use. Like right now I have this unique ring right here, which is good. It gives me up to 4.5 lucky hit chance. It's got crit strike. It's got overpower, the core skill, the +8. And then it's got fire resistance and shadow resistance. That's cool. I could still upgrade it one more. But this right here is like the only unique that I have. It's the only one that I've gotten to drop so far, So I'm using it. This is Mother's Embrace. I won't, give any spoilers, but I'm sure you can tell by the name of it where you get that from. But, there's some other, items and stuff that I am looking for. I think vulnerability damage is huge on the weapon with the crit strike chance and damage. Maybe not so much of the intelligence that I have, but, intelligence, you can kind of boost that up on the paragon board if you wanted to. So while I think intelligence is important for my build, maybe it's not important on my weapons, if that makes sense, because I'm going to be able to, add intelligence through other means. But like I said, I will, I'm still on the first board here. We got some of the glyphs and stuff. Like I'm still on the first board. So I haven't decided where or what I want to use on the Paragon board fully. I'm still messing around with it, but I do have the skill tree and the Paragon tree filled out on the D4 builds. At least the first, I think 2 boards are filled out. I can't remember of what I thought I want to try or the route that I'm going to take. But again, that could change as I start playing when I realize, hey, maybe this isn't working. So take the Paragon aspect of it with a grain of salt. But, 1 through 50, it's good. You're not going to die. You're going to pretty much delete everything unless they have some sort of resistance to like cold spells. That would be the biggest downside is maybe, you're fighting a boss that is resistant to cold spells, so you don't do as much damage and you don't have a secondary ability, a shock or a pyromancy, like one of the fire spells, to fall back onto. So, that right there is something. And then another thing too I want to mention here that I think is really important, and I think it helps a lot. You see right here, I have the +1 max evade charge. So if we close this down, you see right here in my evade, I have the 2. So I have 2 evades. And if you can find a pair of boots in the early game, that is super, super useful for a defense like mechanism, for you to like a defensive mechanism to be able to, I don't have teleport, but I can evade twice instead of having to wait for the cooldown. So FYI, there are ones that give you like a 30% increase to speed. And I don't think that is as good as the +1 max evade, at least in the early game. Maybe later game, it's more important. But like early game, I definitely feel that, the +1 max evade charge. So you can find this on all kind of boots, like whether they are, blues or yellows. You'll see, I think maybe the yellows, like the, what are they? The rare or whatnot. I think you can definitely find them on the yellow one. So, be looking for that early game, because I found it to be really helpful, like in boss fights, like when they would say like spiders or something would spew poison. I was able to like double tap that evade and get out of harm's way with it, because I didn't have like my defensive abilities, for like the first like 20 levels. I didn't really have much defense. in that regard. But if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave it down below. You can check some of my streams to see like gameplay. I haven't died with this build. I don't really take damage. I don't do a lot of damage, but I am more tanky with this. But I can delete a lot of the elites, a lot of the the minions, and then when I get to the bosses, I really don't struggle with them, especially like if once you get the ice shards like powered up, it does do a lot of damage. So FYI with that. But that's the video. Hopefully you found it helpful. It's fun. I'll probably be doing videos on nothing but my ice mage here on forward, like here on out going forward, because this, like I said, this is gonna be the only character that like my main character that I play with for the life cycle of the game. I'm not on hardcore, so if I die, it doesn't matter, and if I die, then I'll figure out like what I died to and what I need to improve upon. So, and I'll probably make a video on that. Hey, maybe you should look to boost this or boost that. So if you are someone that likes to play as a, ice mage, if you will, then this is the video for you, because that's all I play, whether it's Last Epoch, Path of Exile, Elden Ring. I know it's a different type of RPG. Well, it's an action RPG, but different type of, action slash RPG. But even on there, I only use code spells and play as a sorcerer. Every game, where it has a class for me to choose, I'm always with the mage. And if they have code spells, which almost all of them do, I'm always utilizing mainly those. So this is nothing new. You can look at any of the videos on my channel, whether it is, like I said, Elden Ring, PoE, Last Epoch, Undecember. Trying to think of some of the other ones that I've played. Wolfen, another one. Diablo 3, same thing. Same type of character and skill build. That's the video. I am out. Peace.